This conference will now be recorded.
Oh, nice.
So what so just plan to listen, and then what will happen will be they'll get a recording done of this session, and it'll go to my YouTube channel, but it'll be a 4K recording. So I always say we're making two items, A and B. Raw materials on is 4 and 5, and then on B is 3 and 2. Okay, raw materials and labor.
Laborers too. Is it $2, 2 hours?
$2.
Okay.
So these are dollars.
Okay.
So we have a product. We know the raw materials is 4 and 5, and we know the raw materials and labor on A. And we know the direct materials and labor on B. We're making 100,000 of A and 50,000 of B. The total overhead is 50,000. So the question is, how do we calculate MOH? You got $50,000. How you gonna calculate MOH?
Okay. Can you hear me?
I hear you. How you gonna
Yeah,
calculate MOH?
you hear me?
I hear
Okay,
you.
I'm just
See and hear you. Calculate this MOH for us. So
What if I
you
don't know
told
how?
what materials and labor is. So when we have two products, we got one overhead cost. We use a weighted average way to come up with that overhead. So in this product, let's assume the labor hours for A is 60,000, for B is 40. We're going to add those two together, 60 and 40, and get 100,000. Then we're going to divide 50,000 by the 100,000. And so we're going to get an activity rate of 0.50.
Make the thing play music.
Wait, where did the 60 and the 40,000 come from? Or
Those
are
would
those
give,
just examples?
right.
Okay.
Alexa.
You add the
Alexa.
60 and
What do we
40.
divide again to get the?
Alexa.
Alexa.
Column 1 is divided by column 4. And so we get this activity rate of 50 cents. So all you're doing, so
So
all
the
you're
activity
doing
rate is the MOH or
now, we're going to use that to get the unit MOH. Okay.
oh, okay.
So our first step is to calculate the activity rate. Then we're going to put these hours in, the 60,000 A and the 40,000 for B. Then we're going to put in that calculated activity rate, 50 cents. Then we're going to multiply the activity 60 by the 50 to get 30,000 of that overhead that's going to go to product A. And then 50 times 40, 0.5 times 40, 20,000 going to product B. We add them together and see. So we've now allocated the overhead. See, what we had to do was get that 50,000, some allocated to A, some allocated to B. Now we were going to produce how many of A?
Real,
100,000.
real quick, is this form is posted in Blackboard, right?
Correct. You're supposed
Man,
to
I've been
read it.
writing down.
Is Lauren in her vehicle again?
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the quantities that we're going to produce. So the overhead on A, we simply divide 30,000 by 100,000. 30 is on top, 100 on the bottom, and we get 0.3 as the amount of overhead for A. We're going to put that 0.3 here. Then for the other one, it's going to be 20,000 divided by 50,000. So that's going to be what, 0.4? So we needed to break the 50,000 between the two items. We use this activity rate to do it. Then we divided the quantities into that overhead. So our total unit cost on A is going to be what? 9.3. And on B, it's going to be what? 5.4. Okay?
Can you scroll up just a little bit? Because I'm trying to make sure I'm filling in my thing as I fill it in with y'all.
So we calculate the 0.5. Okay? Then we multiplied the 0.5 times the activities to come up with 30,000 of the overhead going to A, 20,000 to B. Then we put in our quantities, 100,000 and 50,000. And so the amount of overhead going to A is 30 cents. The amount of overhead going to B is 40 cents. Then we add those together and we get the total unit cost to be 9.3 and 5.4. Any question?
Yeah. How did you? Where did those numbers come from? Oh, did you just added them? Never mind.
Just
I'm with you.
added them up. Then our selling price multiples were what?
I don't remember seeing that.
I think the selling price multiples, let's just make them 2 and 3. So the selling price multiple 2 and 3, then what's our selling price of the product A going to be? 18.6.
Mm-hmm.
Then the selling price multiple for the next one was, it's going to be 3 times this, so it's going to be what? 16.2.
I don't got my calculator out right now. Give me a second. You
Okay.
going really fast.
Oh, she said I'm going fast.
Okay.
Just doing
So,
the same thing we're doing. We have direct materials, we have direct labor, we have manufacturing overhead. We add those together and then using our selling price multiples to get the selling price. And guess what our POR is going to be? 0.5. That activity rate is going to become the POR. So
is
once
it?
you calculate the activity rate, it becomes the POR for both books. So that makes our process easier.
So our activity rate is always going to equal our POR.
That's correct.
Okay.
So hopefully that will help with the activity rates. Any questions?
So we don't really have to look for POR. We just put the activity rate at the POR, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, real quick, just to make sure I got I'm just making sure. I'm making sure. Okay, Fred, can you do one more time the unit cost and my selling price? Just one more time. One more time. I'm just making sure my steps are right.
Okay. We had to get direct materials and labor. That was given to us up here in the assumption.
Okay.
4532. Then we got the overhead simply by going through this little process and got the 30 cent and the 40 cent.
Okay.
Then we added them together. So the total unit cost is 9.3 for product A, product B 5.4. Our selling price multiples were 2 and 3.
Okay.
And so the selling price, 2 times 9.3, 18.6. And then 3 times 5.4, 16.3.
Okay.
And the POR, where did we get that POR from?
The activity rate.
Okay. Is everybody clear now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's get to our book here. So now we're going to sell 4 books. We were selling 1 book.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Now we're going to sell 4.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness.
We got to sell 4 books. So we have all the data for each book. We got our selling price multiple. And so what we got to do is to come in here and calculate the unit overhead costs, add that to get to what is it? Selling price, unit cost, selling price, and POR. I'll take these out because we're going to go back and work on it. So, but we got to do this for each book. See, for each book, we did it for 2 just now. For each book, we got to go in here and do this, okay? So, before we get started, I'm going to sign these books. So, let's see. Tiana will have the principal's book.
Yay.
And
Me.
So give Lauren and Amelia.
Okay.
Give Kira, Vance, Kyrian Tax, Terrence will be a backup on principals. And let's see. We'll make MJ a backup on. intermediate. Is that everybody? Who's JT?
Me.
All right.
You got me? You check me out?
And you now, you'll be the backup on advance.
Back up on advance.
But not backup, you. Two people sign each book.
Okay, so
Okay.
but I got advance.
Right. Now, what's going to have to happen is that you're going to have to fill out this information. Ink, paper, labor, overhead, total unit cost, selling price, multiple selling price, predetermined overhead rate. We got to do that for each book. Okay. Let's go to our assumptions. Here are our quantities, 20, 15, 10, and 5. Here's the ink. Here's the paper. Here's the labor. Here's the labor rate. So the first thing we want to do is to we put in those labor hours before, remember? Now we're going to come up with the labor hours. Our overhead is 200,000. That's the estimated overhead. We got to get to an activity rate. So we can get to the activity rate, Tian and Terrence, how many labor hours are involved in making the principal book? How many are we making?
We're making 20,000, and we can make 20 per or 10 per hour. So do I divide 20,000 by 10?
Mm-hmm.
2,000.
So you need 2,000 labor hours. Byron and MJ, how many intermediate hours do we need? Got to make 15. We can make 5 per hour.
Um, 3.
You got to make 15,000. You can make 5 books per hour.
Yes, you divide. That means 5,000. I mean
That's correct.
3,000. Sorry.
5 and the 15 is 3,000.
Mhm.
What about for the advanced book? We got to make how many?
1,000.
10,000.
Oh,
You
10,000.
can make
And then we got 10 per hour, so it'll be 1,000.
1 book per hour. You're making 1 book per hour, so you're just going vertical. So you're going to need 10,000 hours.
Why?
Here, what?
Why'd you multiply? Or, yeah.
You got to make 10,000 books. Okay, 10,000 books. It take you an hour to make a book. So you're going to have to put in 10,000 hours to get your books made. Okay? Just think about it. So Kirian, you got 5,000 books to make. It's going to take 2 hours per book. So how many hours is it going to take you? 2 hours per book, 5,000 books. That's going
Am
to be
I
10,000.
dividing?
Multiply.
Oh, so I'm multiplying 5,000 by 2?
Mm-hmm. That's all you're doing.
So 10. Oh, okay.
So now we're going to take these hours. I put them in there before, so I'm going to copy them and put them right here. Okay, there your hours. So we add up all of these hours. How much is it?
25.
It's a good number, 25,000. What then is our activity rate going to be? What is our activity rate going to be? A new thing you learned today. What is our activity rate going to be?
Is this the part where we divide the 200 or the 25,000 by 200,000?
But just the opposite, 200,000 by 25,000.
Oh, I got 8.
That's correct.
Why on the other one did we divide the bigger number by the smaller number? So it's cost divided by
Let's go back up here.
cost divided by what was the 100 total?
Yeah,
And
what's the
just
formula? Cost of
we added these two numbers together and got 100. So we always dividing the dollars, the first column, by the total. Got it? So whatever
So
here is in the numerator, whatever's here is in the denominator. So when we get down here with our 4 books, it's going to be 200,000 divided by 25 when we get 8. Any questions? That 8 gives us a weighted average. What are we going to do next?
just multiplication, I think, right?
Got to allocate this 2,000 to each one. So we're going to take our hours. Put them there. Okay? All I did was to bring these hours down. Any questions? What's going to go on this line?
8.
8, 8, 8, 8. So I want you all to see if you can allocate the overhead to each one, divide by your quantity to get the unit overhead cost. So take 5 minutes, see if you can we calculating the unit overhead cost.
So this one is 200. 8. This is 24. How do you find the uh what is it, the product overhead cost?
Uh, you take the 200,000 divided by 8. I'm asking you, sir.
What are you saying, Lauren? You on your book.
Oh,
You got the intermediate book, Lauren. You got 3,000 hours. Activity rate is 8. It tells us to do what? Line 1 times line 2.
okay.
Line 1 times line 2. So how much is going to be on this line, Lauren?
24,000.
How much?
24,000.
Okay. Now I need my quantity. that I'm going to make. So I'm going to go back up here to the top. And on the intermediate book, I'm making how many? Everybody just get their quantities, 20, 15, 10, and 5. So it's 15,000 for you, right, Lauren?
Yes, sir.
But what's your unit overhead cost going to be?
Okay. Uh, okay, line 3 divided by line 4.
Mm-hmm. How much is that?
1.6.
Okay, so we'd have 1.6. Has everybody else calculated their unit overhead cost?
I don't think I did it right.
Why would you say that?
I got some pretty big numbers.
Yeah, I definitely didn't do mine right. That's why I'm like,
Like
You gonna make up?
for the allocated overhead, I got 1.6 million. And that just seems too big.
can't,
Now
Wait,
your
no.
row. 2,000 times 8 is how much?
Oh, it's I put 200,000. That's why. Okay.
2,000 times 8 is what? That's
16,000.
and 10,000 times 8 is how much? In advance,
80,000.
80,000,
how much?
80,000.
And 10 times 8 again. Is that 80,000 again?
Yes.
Do you have your quantities?
I'm lost. I got lost from the beginning.
You got lost from the beginning.
Okay. Can I
From the
tell you what I
beginning.
got
I
for?
don't know what we're doing.
Can I tell you
I'm
what I
just
got
trying
for
to.
mine?
I will
And you
tell
tell
me
me if I did it
what you got for yours, then we start back over. What you got for yours?
right. Okay. So we got the 2,000 and the 8, 16,000,
Uh-huh.
then 25,000, and then 0.64.
Eat that for a second. I need my
Real,
quantities that I'm going to make. So I'm going to go up here to the
20,000.
top of the problem, and it
Oh,
says 20, 15, 10, and 5. So I'm going to copy those numbers.
did I must have skipped something. I don't have that bar. Okay, hold on.
I just put the quantities in. I just got them from
I got a question.
right here. Yes.
Mine is the tax one. So, was the answer supposed to be 16 for mine?
But 80,000 divided by 5,000 is how much?
16?
I guess 5 and 8. 1, 5,
So it was
30.
supposed to be 16?
Yep, 16.
Oh, okay.
Advance, what you got?
Huh?
80 divided by 10, how much is that?
I'm lost. I have to catch up with y'all. I'm not gonna even lie. I'm
It's
kind of
8.
lost.
That's 8. And what we got here? 16 divided by 20,000, 16,000, how much?
It's 0.8.
That's 0.8.
So that's our unit overhead cost.
That's your unit overhead cost. So now we got to calculate. We'll come back to it. Total unit cost, selling price, and predetermined overhead rate. So these numbers you calculated here, we're going to copy those, and where we're going to put them at? Right in here. Okay? That's where they go. Now it's your job to go up here and look at these assumptions and come up with ink, paper, and labor. Ink, paper, and labor. All right, Terrence, let's go back to you.
Let's go to the very beginning, what we was doing. Y'all jumped out the gate and I didn't get it. Let's go back to the very beginning.
All right, so does everybody see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And you also, everybody else kind of working on filling out this chart for your book. Total unit cost, selling price. Got your selling price multiples up here. Let me put them down there for 2, 3, 4. We're selling 4 books, Terrence.
Hold on. My labor productivity is 10 books per hour. I didn't see it. I'm having a hard time following along because it's not like I got a printout and I can just read it. I'm having to follow the screen. So that's kind of, it's not.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes, I see 10 books per hour and my labor rate is 10.
Okay, so you can always adjust the screen size and everything.
I
Let's
think
see.
he's saying it's because you're like you have to go back and forth. He doesn't have the actual paper in front of him to go back and forth on.
Okay.
Right.
So
So this whole, it just kind of, I'm used to, I got to look at it. And when we go back and forth, it kind of just throw me off. I'm sorry. It's just me.
yeah, and the thing you need to do is to make a hard copy.
Right. That's what I
So
need.
just whiteboard to make a hard copy. But do you see where we are now?
Yes. So I got 10 books per hour. And we just going in, we calculating them like we normally would do.
No, right now, do you see these labor hours?
I see the labor hours.
And do you know what
Wait, wait a
we
minute.
did with the labor hours?
Hold on, wait a minute. I don't see labor hours. Hold up.
Right here.
Hold up.
It's at the bottom in bold.
Oh, 200,000.
2,000.
2,000.
Okay, 2,000 labor hours. Okay, I got you now. I see it. 2,000 labor hours. Labor
That's
rate
for the
$10
principal
per
book.
hour. Okay,
Don't worry about
that's
the
for the
$10
principal.
yet. Don't worry about the $10 just yet. Now, do you see how we got
Okay.
2,000 labor hours?
What did y'all know?
We had to make 20,000 books. We can make 10 in an hour. So we divided 10 into 20 and got 2,000.
Okay. Yes, I got you now.
With intermediate, it was 5 in the 15, 3,000. In advance, was just taking 1, so it's $10. And tax, it took 2 hours per book. So we multiplied 2 times 5. That gave us the labor hours, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, 10,000. We then moved those numbers down here and added them up, and we got 25,000. We
Okay.
divided 25,000 and 200,000 and got 8, our activity rate. Do you see that?
Yes.
Then on your book, which was principles,
Hmm.
okay,
Okay.
we brought your 2,000 labored hours down. You see that?
Yes.
Brought your 2,000 down. We brought down the activity rate 8.
Okay.
We multiplied 8 times 2,000. And so your share of this 200,000 is 16,000 overhead. So your overhead of the 200, you getting 16,000. Got it?
Okay.
Your quantity was 20,000, remember?
Yes.
So to get the unit overhead rate, we just divide what? Overhead by quantity. We got 0.8.
Okay.
And each book is doing that. Remember, you had a book, you divide the overhead by the quantity. That's what's happening here. Everybody divided overhead by quantity. You got the unit overhead rate. Now, what everybody's supposed to be doing, we got the overhead, we got the selling price multiple, calculate total unit cost, selling price, and POR. Total unit cost, selling price, and POR. By filling in, as you did on your midterm, ink, paper, and labor. And I'm going to go back up here all the way to where the assumptions are, telling you to get this information and calculate ink, paper, and labor. Can you calculate ink, paper, and labor? Maybe let me see if I
Yeah, I should be able to. God, dog. Okay.
just go try to pull it a little closer. I got them a little closer for you now, okay?
Okay. It's a little better. Let's see. Okay.
So you got to complete this chart and give
Okay.
me total unit cost, selling price, and POR. That's what we've been doing all along. Can you come up with total unit cost, selling price, and POR? We got the overhead in. You got the standard information. Does anybody have any of these calculated yet?
Doing
All
it
right,
now.
I'm gonna give everybody 5 minutes.
So I believe the POR is 8. You said because you said the POR is the same as the activity rate, right?
Right.
Okay.
So she went and calculated the last thing is gonna be a fair book. See how easy your POR calculation is now? So now all you got to do is come up with total unit cost. I got the selling price multiples in there and selling price. Can we do that, Laura?
I'm trying.
Anna said we're trying, okay.
I'm confused.
I want to know how much was the unit cost. Given these assumptions here,
I think I know what the selling. Well, actually, I don't know
I
because in
want
the
to
last,
get the unit cost first.
I'm not sure if I did it right. Is on like last. Is this
At
the part where
the
we add up all the? Is this where we add up all the overheads?
no, you adding up. You staying in your column.
Oh,
Don't get out the thing and cause a wreck.
so
Ink,
am I doing?
Don't you have principles?
Yeah. So am I doing just the
Ink,
usual? Like,
paper, overhead for the principal book, then get a selling price. You staying in your lane.
so this is the same stuff that we've been doing, not the new stuff, right?
Same stuff, nothing new.
Okay.
We just had a new way to come up with the POR, but otherwise, it's the same thing. That's why we're gonna finish this on Tuesday.
Hey, what were we supposed to when you after you do the labor rate? I'm on like you're adding 4, 5, and 6. It's quantity divided by what? We had 20,000 divided by what?
Don't worry about that.
That's
Just
how
do
we
the labor, the ink, and the paper for now, right?
Right. Ink, paper, and labor. That's all you're doing. You already got your overhead in here. I want a total unit cost and a selling price for each book. It's
Okay.
just what we've been doing.
Okay. I think I did it.
The selling price is
Tell me the ink first.
okay. I'm just looking at the
You
But
want
Lauren, you
hours
doing
or
uh,
you asking for Lawrence?
week for us
Um.
was $20.
all right. Terrence is talking. What you say,
Okay,
Terrence?
I'm doing it like we've been doing it. I did first I came up with the total for the raw materials. Is that right? Is that what we're supposed to be doing?
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
How
Okay,
much?
so the ink was $20, the paper was $10.
And now I need some labor.
So that was a
Let's do.
total of 30. And then the labor, you're gonna take 10, you're gonna divide it by 10, which is gonna equal 1.
All right.
So that's 31. Then you have to take the quantity.
No, we ain't doing nothing with the quantity.
Oh, now we just add up the ink, paper, labor, and multiply it by 2, right? So
Yep. So
31 times 2.
31.8, I believe.
So the point 0.8 goes into that as well.
Yep. Ink, paper, labor, and overhead. We've been doing that for the duration.
So
So
it's 63.6 for the selling price then.
okay.
Real quick, hold on,
So wait,
real quick. We
yeah.
got the 31 point. When we got the point 0.8, that's because we took 20,000 and we divided it by what?
Two
How did
hundred
we get
thousand divided by 25, right?
200,000?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
how we
that's
got.
that's the MOH. I'm sorry, that's the MOH. Two
Yeah.
hundred
Are you talking
thousand.
about the point 0.8?
Yes. How did we
Yep.
get the point 0.8?
The point
Right
0.8 is,
here,
yes,
Yeah.
you,
allocated overhead for that books. It wasn't 200,000. It's 16,000. See
Okay.
that?
Okay. That's yeah.
Book
I got it.
part of the 200. We divide by the quantity. We got point 0.8. Everyone
Mm.
see that?
No, no, hold on. Man, y'all
so
confusing me.
basically,
Just hold
basically,
on. Wait a minute. Hold on.
wait,
Mr.
go back to it.
Mr. Boyd, Dr. Boyd.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I got the 31. Just tell me again, how did we get point 0.8?
We own it right here.
Line 3 divided by line 4.
Well, let's tell them what it is first. Remember, your unit cost is always what? Raw materials, ink and paper, labor, and overhead. And the overhead was always what? Unit overhead was total overhead divided by quantity. Okay.
Okay, what
It
was
was
our
total.
total overhead?
It was 200,000, but we got 4 books, so you can't divide into the 200,000. We said that the principal's book got 16,000 based on our activity rate in the activity. The amount of the 200,000 going to the principal's book was 16,000. We divided by the quantity. We got point 0.8, and each book is doing that. Each book is getting its portion of 200,000 and dividing it by the quantity to get its unit overhead rate. So you see the point 0.8 now, Terrence?
I see the point 0.8. Yes.
We're gonna bring it right here. Then we're gonna add up ink, paper, labor, and overhead. That's what we've been doing for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Ink, paper, labor, and overhead. We just got 4 books. So on the principal's book is 31.8, selling price multiple 2. So the selling price is 63.8, and the predetermined overhead rate is 8 all the way across. Well, let's see how intermediate is coming.
Yeah, so I got 40 for ink,
All
then
right.
20 for paper. That's 60. Then I got 50 for uh the labor.
5 books per hour, $10 per hour.
Five,
You
wait,
bought 10 things. You bought
okay,
5
okay.
things
That's
for $10.
two.
You bought.
That's two. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
That's 62. Yeah, so it's 40, 20, then 2 for labor. That's 62. And so I add the 1.6
Yep. You
overhead.
add.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. 62, 1.6.
Is that 63.6 maybe?
Yeah, that's yeah,
What's my selling price going to be?
times 3. Okay.
Right.
190.8.
Take your word for it. Okay. Advance.
All right, I got 60 for ink. I got 20 for paper. Labor. I got well, it's 1 times 10, so uh
What do you
10.
teach in elementary school 1 times 10 is?
It's 10. I mean, 1 times anything is that number.
I'm just checking what you teaching them.
What?
Yeah, I had to, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
Why
gonna
do you
lie.
keep on telling her
You
that?
almost had me. You almost had me.
I'm just checking. Oh, that's 60, 80, 90, 98.
Yep. Yep.
So what's your selling price?
Well, hold on. It's times 3. Hold on. Let me get my calculator. Hold on. All right. It's ooh, 294. Is that right? Is that right?
I guess.
290. Yeah, it is 294. Yeah, it's 294.
Yeah, made it 24, right?
Yeah.
Tax.
Well, I was right. I was right. I know that's right. Okay, yeah.
How did we get it? It goes 3 times.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Hold on.
Well, let's go figure it out. You got 4 books of what?
At 20, I'm multiplying, right?
You multiply
So 80 and 30.
80 and 30. Going
And
with the
then
labor.
how we do the labor again?
2 hours per book. So that's going to be 2 times 10 equals 20. You multiply.
Oh, okay.
What's your total cost?
So I'm adding up these, like all of them together,
That
including the.
140, including the overhead, like you always supposed to be doing. That's 146, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your selling price going to be?
Um, 584.
Okay. So do we see what we've done so far? Now, see, it's the same thing. We're selling more than 1 book. we still got to get total estimated unit cost, selling price, and POR. And we got a little nice thing with the POR. When we come in here and make this little calculation, that becomes a POR for each book.
So, quick question.
Yes.
The POR we getting on this is not how we found POR last time, right? Like
I
what we
think
was
it's
doing.
the same way.
Say it again.
It's almost the same way.
Oh, okay.
You can try it out and see. But we kind of doing a weighted average.
Okay.
Let me just see one thing.
Like 200,000.
Now you remember we would do three things, correct?
We would
We
take
would
this.
get the hours, and then we divide the hours into the overhead, right?
Right.
So it's 2,000 hours. Okay.
Okay.
Your overhead allocated was 16. What's 16,000 divided by 2,000?
8,000.
And for intermediate, you had 3,000 hours. Your allocated overhead was 24,000. What's 24,000 divided by 3,000? Well, that's 24,000 divided by JT 24 divided by 3.
8.
8,000.
Wait a minute now. 24
That's
divided by 3. We didn't say we dropping the zero.
It should be 8. Yeah, you said like just 24?
Yeah, divided by 3.
Yeah, that's 8.
And what about 80 divided by 10? How much is that?
8. No,
And
that's
80
Yeah.
divided by 10 again, 8.
point
So
10.
Terrence, are we doing the same thing or something different?
It's different, ain't it?
No, we taking the overhead and dividing it by the hours. Remember step 1, total overhead.
Right. Which is 200,000.
No, you got to break it down by book. It's 16,000 for the principal book.
You saying because we have 4 books all together, the principles, intermediate, advanced, and tax?
Yeah, you got to allocate the overhead to each one.
Okay.
So you're doing the same thing, except you're working with 16,000. Intermediate working with 24, advanced 80, tax 80. Got it?
Yes, I think so.
You're not working with 200,000. You're working with 16.
With
So if
16,000.
you put 16 in those formulas, the same thing would happen.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. 16,000 divided by the. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
All right. All hearts and mind clear.
I
And so
got
now
you.
we calculated unit cost, selling price, and POR. So what's going to come next?
Huh?
That'd be
what do you
time
mean
for
by
some extra. What?
what do
Hey,
you mean?
real quick before we go on, real quick. I just want to make sure I got this. The 16,000. Go back to where the 16,000 was.
Uh-huh.
Let
There it
me
is.
see. Okay.
That's the principal
Hold
book
on, I
part of
can't
it.
see it.
You see it now?
Okay, this is what I'm asking. Over the overhead was 200,000, right?
For all 4 books.
But we divide, but we divide that 200 by 4.
No.
What are we doing to get to 16? We what are we dividing
Calculated
200,000 by?
calculated an activity rate 8. Then we multiplied the
Activity.
activity by the 8 to get 16,000 as the overhead
How
for
do we
that
get
process.
the activity? How do we get the activity rate?
200,000
Right here.
divided by all of the books
25,000.
labor hours.
Oh,
So
you
all
add all the books up together.
yep, and
Yep.
that gives you
Add all the
25,
books up together.
Add their hours
Okay.
together.
and then divide that by
Okay.
200,000.
So
And
what we're
that give me
doing,
the activity rate.
Yep.
right, and we're using
Okay.
that to come up with the overhead per book. You can't use 200,000. You got to use your allocated amount, 16, 24, 80, and 80. And if you do that, put that in the formulas, your overhead, it's going to be the same thing. Got it?
Okay, I got how we got the activity rate. One last thing, and I think I got it. How did we get for the principals? How did we get to 2,000 hours? What did we divide that by? One was it? What was it?
It took
How did we
you,
get
you made 10 books per hour. You were making 20,000 books.
10 books per hour? I made 20,000 books.
Right.
Okay.
That's how we got to 2,000, 3,000, 10, and 10.
Okay.
So we're doing the same thing.
Okay. Quantity divided by 10. Okay. I got you.
But so what we're doing is we got 200,000 for 4 books. So we got to come up with a way to allocate that 200,000 to each book.
To each book. Okay.
And each book, so for principals, their overhead is 16,000, and they making 20,000, and it's taking them 2,000 to make
Okay. All right. I'm following you now.
it. Intermediate, Lauren, 15,000. What you making? It's taking you 3,000, so your part of the overhead is 24,000. Okay. Let's see if we can go a little further today, just a little further. Now it's time to make some journal entries.
What?
We always got to make journal entries.
That's the
So,
hardest part.
is
I
the
got a
hardest part?
question.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be posting this recording on Blackboard?
No, it's too big for Blackboard typically. So, I have a YouTube channel, correct?
Yes. So you're gonna
Okay.
post it to YouTube?
Yep, it'll be there later tonight or something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the problem with Blackboard. It can only take so much. So this is a 4K recording, and some people have had trouble with Blackboard. So that's why, I guess, luckily during the pandemic, I operated independent of Blackboard. So I have all of my recordings still there. Because Blackboard, they would be wiped out and everything. But you can access recording anytime. Okay?
Okay.
Now let's look at the next thing we're going to do. Time to make some journal entries. It's time to make some journal entries. And what's going to happen, I'm going to be the team leader, all right, for the day. I'm going to buy the ink and paper. If a company is making 4 books, 4 people don't go around buying the ink and paper. One person buys. So I'm gonna be the team leader, and I'm gonna buy 110,000 ink cartridges and 90,000 reams of paper. I'm gonna buy that, and so therefore I'm buying $2 million worth of ink and 900,000 worth of paper for all 4 books. That's done, okay? You see that? Now, what you all gonna do is get together and make the rest of these journal entries. So I've made these 2 journal entries. These are all quantities. So for principles, Terrence, you all are gonna come in here and use these numbers here and transfer in the ink, the paper, record the labor, apply the overhead to come up with the stage 2 numbers for your book. So what did I do? I put the first one in here for you all for principles. 20,000 ink cartridges were coming in the principles. Okay. So I got to make a journal entry already here, debiting work in process, crediting ink for 20,000. Any questions?
Yes. How did you get the 110,000?
That was
That
given,
was
wasn't it?
that's a given.
Okay. Okay.
You
So
said,
I oh,
go ahead.
so are we calculating this stuff for our book specifically, or I'm confused.
Book. I bought the ink and paper for you. So
For
I'm
all
running the
4
Hold
books
on.
or for our book?
all 4 books.
Okay.
I did stage 1. You all
Okay.
simply have to do stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4.
Okay. So in your stage 1, that is the total, 110,000
Right. I
and
bought them
and
all.
90. Okay.
Now,
So there's
So we
nothing
don't
to
have.
debit or credit for stage 1.
say what?
So there's nothing to debit or credit for stage 1?
Not for you all right now. I did it for you. And that's why. So all y'all got to do is stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4.
So we're just plugging in
Okay, I get what you're
for
saying.
the journal entries, right?
I get what it.
And then and like I said, you got the spreadsheet here, the T accounts. Notice now there's one journal entry for ink and paper, but there's a work in process journal entry for each book. So you post into your book. Okay. And then you transfer the finished goods for your book.
We gonna do this on Tuesday, or you
Okay,
want us
we
to?
just going.
Yeah,
We we
can
just
we go
going.
back
What
over this
we
stuff
just
on
going.
Tuesday?
Because I'm
So
confused. I need to. Yeah, can we go back over this on Tuesday? I don't understand how to do the
It's
journal
just the
entry.
last, yeah, the last part we got to with the entries. Can we go over that Tuesday?
of course. But
I
do you
get what you telling. I get what you
but
telling us to do.
the same journal entries, but by book. And I signed each one of y'all book, right?
Right. I got
Did I not
you.
sign everybody's book? So we're of
Yeah,
course
you
gonna
gave us.
go back over everything. But here you are on the books here. And who's missing?
Hey, pretty. Huh? Missing from what?
You can give me a backup and put Alexia right there.
You let her know.
So
So he
that
let
number you
her.
got plugged in. That number you
Yeah,
got plugged in is for principles.
I just put in there the journal entry for principles.
Right.
So for the working process. So everybody else make their ink journal entry, then we'll go.
Okay.
So I want intermediate, advanced, and tax to make their journal entry too.
Okay.
I got the accounts. You just got to put your dollars in. So
Okay.
can y'all do that?
Can you
Yeah, I
scroll
can
back to the
do
other
it.
thing? The one that has the numbers on it?
So intermediate, what's your number gonna be?
Mhm.
I don't know their numbers. What was their numbers? I do it too. What was their numbers?
Okay, here are the numbers here.
I can barely see.
So when
Okay.
y'all can tell me how much go in y'all book in the journal entry, you just got to give me a dollar amount. So how much is that going? How much ink is intermediate gonna use?
I'm trying to figure out right now, where did you get the
Please.
400,000 from?
I took the 20,000 and multiplied by 20 because that's what the ink was selling at $20 each.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the numbers I was talking about. I didn't see. Okay,
They
that's
back up here 20 and the paper selling at 10, but the ink is selling for 20. So if the ink is selling for 20 and you need 30,000 ink cartridges intermediate, what's your number gonna be?
Six,
How much?
60.
No, it's not gonna be no 60.
I mean,
It's gonna be 30,000 times 20.
yeah, that's 600,000.
Thank you.
I said six is just okay. 600,000.
All right, it's time for advance now. Give them a number.
Is it gonna be the same? The 66? I mean, the 600,000 because it's 30 and 20, right?
Yep, 600,000.
Well, we're just multiplying. I'm just making sure. Making sure.
Yep.
All right.
And finally, for that tax book, so we can go.
Was mine 20
Yep, 20,000.
times 20,000? I mean, wait,
Yep,
20,000 times 20,
that's correct.
so it's 400,000.
400,000. But what I expect is you all have the rest of these made when y'all get to class.
Okay, I'm gonna need the
okay.
YouTube so I can get all my numbers so I
Dr.
can
Ward,
have.
I won't lie to you. On Tuesday, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna have that for you. I'm so confused.
Tuesday,
You
can
and
we at
Terrence,
It's,
least just go over the last part
it's
before
the
we
same.
try to
It's the
submit?
same thing we've been doing.
all right, so if you
Oh,
check with Terrence, all you're
I
doing is now you got to put your paper number in. That's the
oh, does that
account.
mean I'm multiplying 20,000 by 10 to get my paper then?
All you're doing. That's right. That's all
All
you're
right,
doing.
so I got you. This is stage 2, right? Or are we doing it
okay. We
all?
just plugging it in.
Yeah, you
Are we doing
plug
all
it.
the
Now,
stages?
what you going to do for the labor?
Multiply that
Yeah,
by.
work in process, and then gonna be
The labor
debited
rate
when the
$10 each.
say it again.
What was your labor rate?
Labor rate was $10.
Wow. So you're gonna multiply the hours by 10. And then for your MOH, what you gonna do?
You gonna divide, right?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Say what?
What you gonna do for MOH?
You gonna take the total. What was it? 200.
When no,
Go
you
ahead.
ain't doing nothing. 200,000.
I couldn't hear you.
You're not doing anything with 200,000.
Okay, what did you ask? What are we doing with what now?
I'm ready for this last journal entry.
Oh, okay. I see you got the 2,000 labor hours. You gonna? I don't know. Now I'm getting confused.
To apply your overhead, what you gonna do?
The 20,000 times
You
the
got 3,000 times what, Lauren? So we can go.
0.8.
We don't have a 0.8, Lauren.
That's the P. I mean the Oh, that's the POR. I mean you multiply the hours times the POR. That's right.
And it's not 0.8, but what?
Huh?
It's not 0.8, but what? 8.
Check. Okay, 8.
I thought it was 0.8. Hold on, man. Y'all confusing me now. Oh,
The
10.
POR is 8. You
8.
said
Okay.
POR 8.
8.
I'm
Yes.
gonna pick this up on
You're right.
Tuesday. I have to go to my second job basically. So
All right.
Just
bye
wait,
What
wait,
did?
y'all.
just wait.
Hold on that last step. You said we took the 2,000 labor hours and we multiplied it by 8. The POR.
POR. Yep.
Okay. Hey, can I ask one favor?
What's your favorite?
Where I get confused at is like I can't do this with us going back and forth on these screens.
Make
Like,
a copy on Tuesday. You
right.
make a
Okay.
copy of it. It's online, so everybody should make a copy of it.
Okay.
And it's gonna be on YouTube, right?
Yep. What we did today is going to be on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so